working. Data is sending. So, ho, ho, ho. Let me check that here.
I got my phone in my hand so I can check.
Yeah, that's great.
Let me check your group right now.
Cool.
eCom strategy.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah,
Yep.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can see us. Beautiful.
Amazing.
I can see my ugly looking hair.
Cool. Hey guys, hope you're doing great. We're going to just talk about a couple of stuff. Just first, we start this the recording of the podcast. I'm just gonna try to figure out if I can bring the window somewhere near here, just to make sure that I can see everything in the same window. Let's see this. And this is gonna be fun. I'm gonna try to see if I can share that also on my profile. Let's do that on my profile right now. On my timeline. Let's jam about e-commerce with Blair. Yeah, great. Let's see. Oh, the streaming quality, whatever. I don't know what's happening here, but okay. Should work. Let's see how this is going to turn out. There's always stuff going on before we start everything to make things work properly. So seems that everything is on and working. We shouldn't have any issue with the streaming right now. So guys,
here's what I'm seeing in your group. I'm seeing us. So
okay, that's amazing. So yeah, it's working.
Yeah, it's working. As far as I can tell, it's working.
Amazing. Okay, guys, so I'm going to do a little intro just to start that because this is recorded for our weekly podcast. This is going to be available probably in 4 weeks from now on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, whatever. Since you're in the group and you're following me, you have the privilege to get this live. And the great thing is after the podcast, so the podcast runs about for 45 minutes, we always give like 5-10 minutes extra. So if you have any questions, we can answer that for you. And today we have the privilege to have Chris Blair, Coach Chris. So I'm going to do the intro right now and we'll introduce officially Chris. And then we're going to jump in today. Like I was saying, is we're really going to jam about e-commerce and talk what's going on right now. So in a few minutes right now.
Suddenly your sound went really quiet, Phil.
Okay, I'm going to check this out.
Now it's back up.
Okay.
Now it's back up. Okay. It might have been a connection issue.
Yeah. Hey guys, this is Phil Kyprianou live for Chill with Phil. Everything about e-commerce, digital marketing, affiliate marketing, and much more. If you're passionate like me, you want to hang out with us for the next basically 45 minutes, an hour, because we are going to jam today with my good friend and amazing coach, Chris Blair. What's up, buddy? Hope you're doing great.
Doing great.
Chris is in Japan.
9:10 a.m. here in Japan right now.
Wow. And how's the weather outside?
Actually, it was warm yesterday, but today is rainy. So
cool.
We're starting to get into the spring weather. So I'm excited about that. Guys, a lot of people, there's one weird fact about Japan. A lot of people, for some reason, I don't know why, they're under the misconception Japan is warm year-round like Singapore. That's absolutely not the case. Japan can have a very cold winter. They've had the Winter Olympics here before. So from December, January, and February are really cold. I mean, seriously, you got to wear a warm jacket, gloves, and hat. Not as cold as of course Montreal and Quebec, which is extremely cold. But anyway, by most people's standards, it's cold. So Then it starts to warm up in March. We have these weird weather patterns where it'll be warm in the day, and then in the evening time it'll be freezing cold. So one day you can wear a half shirt, and then by the time you need a down jacket. So it's crazy. And this is what Marches are like. Then April starts to warm up. But anyway, so we have all 4 seasons in Japan, and then in the summer it's hotter than heck. I mean, it's so hot here. I want to tell you a story. I wasn't planning to talk about this. This is off the cuff of I thought my head is just I have a good friend here who is also involved in digital marketing. He's an Indian guy who married a Japanese, and every year he likes to take his family back to India in August because he says it's cooler in India than it is in Japan in August. And now India's a hot country.
That's crazy.
Yeah. So we have extreme all 4 seasons here.
Oh yeah, cool. I remember, when I was in Japan, how crazy it was. I couldn't imagine that it was going to rain like that. It was humid.
Was bizarre. What time of year was that? Yeah, Phil came in and we had a really unusual, weird weather. I think the gods didn't like you for some reason. It rained every day you're here, and by the way, it was the first time it rained during that time of year in like 10 years. It rained every day.
That's crazy. But we had a blast there. You were running the first Netrepreneur summit with James Brown in Japan. Met amazing people, all related to digital marketing, e-commerce, and at this time it was really where the early Shopify type free plus shipping, all this kind of stuff was rising. We were really in the early stage in 2015 of that thing, and basically we've seen together how it grew and now where it is, and now digital marketing e-commerce has changed so much for the past 3 to 4 years now, and that's what basically I wanted to start with, because we've seen the evolution almost together. We've been doing e-marketing together. You were one of my former coach when I started doing Teespring back then. So we had a chance, to run some sort of in tandem, basically, and see all these things. So I found out that it was a great thing to have you today, because we were going to jam about it, seeing the latest change, where marketing is going, basically in e-commerce, and how to prepare ourselves, basically, to that. And since also you are still coaching a lot of students. You have your own platform also where you continually inform people, tell them what's going on, and also teach them on the latest strategies. So as well what's going on right now. You have direct feedback from your students. So yeah, let's go on that and let's jam about it.
Okay, all right. So just as Phil mentioned, I have a unique perspective in the marketplace because a lot of people just focus on their stores, and so all they can truly see is their stores. Whereas I have my stores, but I'm going to be totally transparent. I've been doing this eCom selling stuff since 2012. It's a grind for me, and I need human interaction. And I actually came from a teaching background. I started teaching English in Japan right after I graduated university. So I really like the teaching and interacting. So once I became good at ecom, I started teaching, and I've been doing that ever since. And it helps drive me, keeps me in the flow. And so I have a mastermind course and group of 400 people in the group, and I'm in there answering questions every day. Plus, I have some private coaching students where I'm literally seeing their stores, their results, their ads. So this gives me a lot broader perspective on what truly the trends are versus everyone else. So this is right now we're at a pretty pivotal period of time. I'm going to talk a little bit about I actually did a live stream video from yesterday about this. I'm going to talk about this again here. Okay, so. Guys, I can tell you from guys who've been doing this for 8 years, there are certain trends in the market that never change when it comes to seasons. Okay, so January, February, and especially January and February, but March starts to pick up. But January, February, and March are hard times to sell in. Okay, why is that? Well, the number one reason is because people spend a lot of money. They spend more money than they have. Put it all on their credit cards. I'm talking about the average customer. I'm not talking about the people, people who have good. I'm talking about the average middle class person, right? They have a certain income, whether it be $30,000, $40,000, $56,000. They've got a mortgage. They've got car payments. They've got gas payments. They got food. So they have disposable income that's only so much, right? So they go, when it comes to Christmas season, they spend beyond their disposable income, and they're usually trying to save for their retirement, their IRA and all that stuff, right? So whatever your retirement package is, whatever the country you're on, every country now has a pension system. So they're putting all this money in, and so they got a disposable income of this much. Well, at Christmas time, they spend this much. Okay. And they put it on their credit cards. And so they put it on their credit card, and so they're literally paying, and usually they'll try to split into 2 payments or 3 payments, so that vacation they took with their family, their whatever, right? Their presents they bought and everything. So they are literally spending the January, February, and March paying off the debt for Christmas, right? Of the disposable income. So it's hard to sell during that time of year. It's not to say you can't make sales, because you can. In fact, some of my students have had massive success during this time of year. But the key to overcoming this time of year is to present a product or service. Right? I know there's people who are in the digital marketing, right, world on this. So a product or service that they must use now. So let's think about that. In a physical sense, products, what would that be? Scarf, maybe gloves, jackets, those type of products that they absolutely have to use now, and that will motivate them if they think it's cool, they're interested in that one, and it matches what they're interested in, right? They will buy that, okay? All right, so now I got great news for you guys. We are coming now into a good time. By April, most people are out of their Christmas debt. They got more now. They suddenly got this money they can spend because they got the disposable income. They paid off all their previous credit card debt. The weather's getting good. They're starting to be in a better mood. They're more in a more of a shopping mindset. And I can tell you that because from talking to customers, interacting with customers. Okay. Plus, on top of it, you have 2 major holidays. Okay, they're not holidays in the sense of days off, but they're events. Mother's Day and Father's Day are huge. I mean, massively big. Okay, I mean, this is an extreme example, and I'm not going to say you're going to do this because, I mean, this is not normal. But I just want to put something out there that's going to shock you and make you realize what's possible. There's one of our mastermind group members, right, last year who had a really hot. They hit everything right. I mean, they had the site set up right the way we teach, right? They do product research and development the way we teach. They do scaling the way we teach, and but the thing is, they had the right product. They had the right. Everything was just a click, okay? And so they had a Mother's Day product that was just rolling, making tons of sales. And then they had this weekend deadline, because every supplier you work with, there's a deadline. Okay, we can no longer guarantee delivery for this event, right? Whether that be St. Patrick's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Thanksgiving, whatever. I mean, whatever holiday you have in Canada, right? So there's a cutoff date where the supplier can no longer guarantee delivery for that. So this particular member of our group, right? I mean, you know who he is, right? And it's mind-boggling, but I just want to point this out there to show you what's possible, right? And this, so you can think big, right? And not to say you're going to do this because, again, it's extreme. I'm saying this with caveat because this is extreme. But on the Saturday, the deadline was the weekends and the Sunday. Saturday, they did $73,000 in sales in one day. And then the next day, $133,000 in sales. So $200,000 in sales in one weekend at like a 30% profit. Then they walked away with $60,000 in their pocket profit in one weekend. Okay. Again, extreme, but I want to open your eyes to what's possible. Okay. So guys, we got 2 massive events. We got the better shopping mood coming up here. So you really need to focus on testing products and getting your website set up right. Because a lot of people are really truly underestimate the way the website's set up properly. Getting your social media marketing going and just get everything in place so that you can take advantage of this season. Okay. So the good times are coming, and that's April, May, and June. Okay. All right. Then we head to a little bit of a lull, and January, July, and August, and early September, right? But when you get to the end of September, things have to change. But those are rough times as well. And September can be hard because people, again, they take vacations in August with their family, they take up credit card debt, so it's not as bad as Christmas, but still it happens. So September can be a bit slow, and then October just so. But then when we get to the second week of October, we get the Christmas rush. From the second week of October, the Christmas rush comes. Okay, so how do you overcome the July, August, and September? Those are rough times. How do you overcome that? Well, it's the same mindset and methodology you got to think that you did at Christmas. Christmas, not winter. Winter. What did I recommend do at winter? January, February, March. Offer products or solutions that they have to use now. It's the same thing. So what kind of products can we sell in the summer, right? In July, August, they're going to need for their vacations. Thongs, beach chairs. I'm just throwing these out there as examples. Hats to keep the sun out of their eyes. Sunglasses. So, and if you're in the digital, I'm not in the digital marketing space, but digital marketing space, try to think of summer things that would help them in their summer. So, offer solutions or products that are for summer only. That's how you get people motivated to buy. If not, and by the way, a lot of people say you should heavy discount all your products during this time of year. And I can tell you for a fact that that's a meaningless strategy. I've done it numerous times. I don't know if you and Phil have done. And if a person is not motivated to buy, they're not going to buy anyway. And the discount is not going to help them. All the discount ends up doing is making you less profit from the person who's going to buy that product anyway. Okay, discounts work during hot seasons when you're trying to during Christmas season when you got tons of products. You could say this is on 20% discount for a limited time. But they're already motivated to buy, and you can push them over the top. But a discount to overcome the bad season doesn't work. What does work is, again, what I just said: offer solutions that they have to use now. That will motivate them to buy.
Exactly.
And of course, we got the Christmas boom, which you guys know anyone can sell in Q4. Anyone. A monkey could have success in Q4 with their eCom store.
Exactly. I mean, it's just like I think you nailed that down because it's exactly the time. I mean, on my stores, it was exactly like that. It was exactly following January, and I was like starting getting sales mid and April up to July. July would have a down, then end of August would start again for back to school, then down again, a bit of Halloween, and then after that starting to sell like crazy for Christmas. And it's like people are waking up at that time of the year, and now they need their stuff. First of all, they need it fast, and they're buying like crazy. And you were saying something also about forgot that. Sorry, I will get that back later on. But yes, makes total sense out there. I think that about like the discounts, one of the biggest problems, and I think you nailed it again, is people sometimes tries to copy what's happening in retail, but basically retail strategies are not at all the same than e-commerce strategies. Behaviors are totally different there. So they might see, okay, when I'm going into retail store in July, I'm seeing all this 70% off and things like that. But when you are in front of a store and you can actually go in and try something and you might love it, there's much more chance that your conversion rate on the store, on the retail store, is higher than on the web, because there's not such a distraction going around as when you are browsing on the internet, basically. So the behaviors of the people are totally different there, and it could make sense. It could trigger the needs of getting this thing because it's discounted. But on the web, it's totally different there. And like you say, people might skip it because basically, do they really need that or not? They will not make the chance to buy it right now, you know. So the decision making is totally different.
Sorry?
The decision making is totally different on the web, you know.
It also depends on where the customer is coming from.
Yeah.
So, I mean, most of us are dependent on paid advertising, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm in that boat too. But with paid advertising, you're interrupting people, right? You're reaching out to them and say, here's my product or service. Do you want it or not? Basically, I mean, that's what you're doing, right? Whereas if you're on advertising on Amazon or even on Google Ads, right, which is based on SEO, based on search, right, based on people searching, then those people are actually raising their hand and searching for an item themselves, right? It's the same thing with someone who walks into a store, right? They walk into a store because they're interested, and a lot of people just walk into the store just to browse, just to kill time and take a look at what's rolling around. But there are still a number of people who go in there for the purpose of shopping, right? So during a time when it's downtime for shopping, right? The way someone shops on Amazon or even from Google search and the retail shop is much different than the way someone shops who's being just hit with an advertisement unexpectedly.
Totally. And the other thing also I'm seeing a lot is like people trying to force sales, you know, and it's like they're going on the opposite side of what's happening, and they try too much to go after instead of trying something else, you know. So if, like you were saying, we're in July, it's not the time to sell, I don't know, whatever thing that just doesn't make sense for that time, but they're trying to push it. You know, they're spending money and they're ready to lose money for that specific item, while they should either stop their ads, you know, just, you know, write on organic search, write on your emails and things like that, or just try other type of products that would much more make sense, like you were saying, solving a solution or for the right timing or anything like that, you know?
Yeah, that's one of the biggest problems people have in the marketplace is they're trying to get people to buy the shit that they want to sell, rather than trying to put their mind in the mind of a customer and then try to think of things that they could offer that they're interested in buying. I mean, this is a mindset shift. It's key.
Yeah.
And then another thing that people make a mistake on is become emotionally attached to their products. Okay, this is a huge, huge mistake. It costs you a lot of money. Oh, why is this not selling? Oh, it should be selling. Oh God, I'm spending more ads. Well, that is not important. What's important is, are you getting link clicks to your website? Are you getting add to carts? Are you getting good engagement? People tagging their friends and saying, I want some, that kind of data. Are you getting that, right? It doesn't matter what you think about your product. You may actually love your product. That is irrelevant. What matters is what the market responds. There's a lot of print-on-demand suppliers who actually make their own designs. Now, I know some of you people are doing dropshipping, people are doing print-on-demand, but I just want to bring this up, the print-on-demand example, because I see this a lot, and even today, I know a lot of people, they spend time on their own designs. Okay, they have graphic design ability. They want to save money on hiring a designer, so they design their own products. I personally think this is a mistake, because after you spent 30 minutes to an hour to 90 minutes designing your own design, you have an emotional attachment to it, and you start to ignore the numbers that are right in front of your face that are telling you that this is not a winning offer.
I totally agree, and it's a matter of numbers, you know, in terms of getting that out, and I mean, I did that by myself. I spent some time, like $350, $1,000 on designs, and basically they were not selling compared to $15 designs that were doing a bunch and doing over and over, you know. So and I was super emotionally attached because, you know, I was looking at the design and I found it like, oh, that's hot, that should sell, that is looking great. Oh. But basically, I mean, like much more basic designs at $15 designs, t-shirts were selling way much more than these big beautiful one, you know. So there's also your own perception that could be totally off, totally wrong with the market. and you spend already too much money trying to do something that you think it's really what people needs, but in reality they don't give a shit, let's say, about it, you know.
Exactly. So another thing I see people doing is you know, you saw Tony's post in our group the other day. The group, you know, just trying to copy what other people are selling. Again, a big mistake. I'm going to bring this up because I love, and I bring this example up a lot. But it was 2016. Remember those spinny dealies?
Yeah, the fidget spinner.
Fidget spinner thing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So there was a couple of people who jumped on those quite early, right? They found it. They found that part. I don't know how they come up with the idea or not, and they had a lot of success. Okay, and they were selling the crap out of them. I mean, just selling huge numbers. Okay, it was like a good handful of people, like 4 or 5 people, right? And it was just at the time when these apps came out that allowed you to basically do research to an app to go see what other best-selling products are in other people's stores. Okay, it was just that was both these things corresponded right at the time. Up to that point, there was no app. There was an app for Teespring. There was an app for other stuff, but there was no app for Shopify that allowed people to do that. And the app developers, right, being the cunning person that they are, they figured out, you know, certain trends in the codes of each Shopify store, right? Because let's face reality, in the back where Shopify operates, there's something that's universal about every single Shopify store, and they figured that out. And then after that, they were able to make these apps allowed you to create. And sure enough, the way people use these apps then and then today is completely wrong. Okay. Now I'll tell you, I'm not being critical of these apps. I think these apps can be useful. Let me point this out. For example, one of my good friends, our good friend Russell, right, is one of the creators of one of these apps, and used properly, the right way, it's awesome. But used the way that most people do, and I told Russell this, it sucks and it hurts people. Okay. So what's the wrong way? And this is exactly what everyone else did. They found out these fidget spinners are selling really well. They literally, there was this like a 2-month period where people were selling these apps, and suddenly thousands of marketers were selling the fidget spinners. All they did was just go out and say, oh, okay, that's the fidget spinner. And the market for it died. And I know guys who lost their shirt because they were saying, oh, my God, this fidget spinner had – there's one post out there that I remember seeing. It had 175,000 shares. It's a lot of shares and tons of comments. Why is it not selling for me? It's not selling for you because you just basically – you're like the sheep following the herder to the slaughterhouse. Okay. So on any given product slogan or whatever, right? Right. By the way, there's, you know, on any given product or slogan, right? The first 2 or 3 people who get on it are going to have a lot of success with paid advertising on Instagram. But then everyone else who jumps on the bandwagon are going to get slaughtered. Okay. So this is the wrong approach. Okay. So how do you use these apps? You use these apps to research and truly get to know your niche and get an understanding, a deep understanding of what your customers like, what kind of products or services they actually like, okay? What resonates with them. And now once you've got a deep understanding, then you are able to come up with your own more unique ideas. So if you use the apps as a product research tool to understand your niche so that you could then come up with your own unique, cool idea, you are going to be a winner. If you use these apps as a copycat tool, yeah, you may get lucky on an occasion, but it'll be short-lived because everyone else can go out and copycat too. And so you may have this short run, but keep in mind, there's another 100 sellers doing the exact same thing you just did, and then suddenly every other asshole in the marketplace is selling the exact same thing.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's the wrong thing. I've experienced that personally in both ways. So going after products before they were going to the market, so I had huge success since we were like very, very, very few selling it. And on the other side, being at the end of the tail and trying to sell something that was already oversold and trying to force it while basically people didn't give a shit about it because they have already seen they were not interested anymore, or they already bought it, you know. So it's like the best for sure is to have to be ahead of the curve if it's possible, or to have something that is not too much competitive but evergreen. Or the other thing is to have your own story about it, to have your own branding, so your own branding overbid basically the competition, the and anything else that can go against that, you know, because you know you can have, because your brand is so good that people will care much more about your product than any other else, you know. So anything else. So that's really the thing about that. But I totally agree. I mean, basically, people tend to. I mean, like anything, like we've seen that since the beginning. I mean, people were starting stores, copying exactly what other stores were doing, and try to replicate. Because also, you know, it's how it is. It is tough mostly. You know, it's like use that template, use this product, start launching ads, and you know, get this results. But at the end, it's totally not that at all. You know. So
it's not.
You need much more.
Thing.
Yep. You need a much more strategic approach to this. Yes, using this concept, but doing also something different to differentiate yourself from all the rest. And when you think also about the numbers of stores out there, just on Shopify, there's over 600,000 stores, and I'm pretty sure that there's probably half of that are drop shippers that are doing basically what you're doing, and there's probably brands on the other side. And this is just on Shopify, not talking about WooCommerce, which have like millions of stores and all the rest, you know. So imagine with who you are fighting against.
But by the way, just so you don't get too intimidated, because just because a lot of these stores actually are there and exist, I can tell you for a fact that a lot of people don't do anything. I mean, I was in a conversation with Brad, you know, Bradley Long, you know, Shoptimize. So I'm a good friend with the Bradley Long from the Shoptimize team, and he says that, you know, they have thousands of stores, but only a small number are actually driving any sales at all. So for some reason, people like to set up their stores just to have it, and they make no effort at all. So, I mean, Russell told me that at one point there was about 30,000 stores actually making sales on Shopify. Okay, so because their app can identify which ones. It's hard for them to identify the exact number of sales, but they can identify stores that actually have sales and not have sales. So even though there's 600,000 some stores, only some 30,000 of them are actually making sales. Okay, so, and that could be for numerous reasons. One, some of the people that have no clue how to market it, but I think that's actually a small number. There's just a plethora of people out there who like, for some reason, to create a store, and they never do anything. They get distracted by life, they get distracted by their kids or work or whatever, and then it just sits out there in the cyberspace collecting dust.
Yeah, like the old site back then. Also, people were making pages online and they were not doing anything and not getting traffic. At the end, it's a bit the same thing. And also, like people like probably you or me that had like at a certain point, you know, tens of stores there, and finally we decided like to work on one or two and focus on that instead of focusing on 10. So we let the other, you know, sleeping, you know, out there.
I mean, back in the Teespring days, I used to have sell in many, many different niches. So right now I still have hundreds of fan pages, but I'm only really truly using a few of them.
Yeah. So it's basically the same thing. But the other stuff, the other thing also going in is like there's much more advertiser also online. You know, Facebook was saying over 1 million advertiser. I think it's probably much more now. So the thing that is happening is there's much more people fighting to get in the feed, a bit like on Google. You know, you're fighting to get on the first on the top, and it's a bit the same thing. You're trying to get on the top first fold, first ads of the feed. So again, and there's other people that have much more money there that can spend much more, so they can they can increase frequency increase the numbers of products that they can be seen, and all this kind of thing. So it's getting competitive at a certain point. I think that's one thing. But if you're selling something that is relevant to the audience, is where you can again be able to win the game.
Absolutely. So that's the whole point of why we talk about, get to know your niche, master the niche. I mean, don't just know it, know it lightly, know it deeply, and then reach the point where you can come up with your own unique, cool ideas. That is, I mean, there's a lot to that, but I mean, in a nutshell, that's what you want to do. That's what you're aiming to do.
Yeah, I agree. At a certain point, you spread too thin, and this is where you get in trouble, except if you have a very good team and your team is able to handle all these niche, all this products research and all this kind of thing. But if not, especially if you're starting, is better if you focus. Yeah, probably at the beginning you can try figure out what you feel you're the best at or which niche you get most interest in. But at a certain point after, I mean, you need to focus on one and be, like you said, the best. And this will help also to create content around it. Because one thing that people forget is it's not always about selling something, but it's also about entertaining people, getting them almost organically attached to your brand or your business. So when you offer a new product, you don't have to force this sale and force it into their and to force it to buy, so it has almost to be natural there, and they will feel the need also to buy from you because you're not again another store that tries to get the sales. They know they will beneficiate for good content and good stuff around that, and that's something important also when you're managing social media around that and all your channels. So same thing here. If you're building something, a brand or something like that, which I highly suggest, is to develop a strategy of content that is everywhere also, on your Facebook page, emails. And like I say, content is not only about sales, but about also educating people, indoctrinate them also about what are your values as a brand. So
Matt, your internet keeps chopping in and out.
Oh, I'm chopping.
now you're back. Fine. That's weird. Something's wrong. Something's weird about your connection. The sound sometimes just, and then but it comes like a second later it comes back.
Oh, no problem. Anyway, we'll chop that part in the edit of the podcast.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, and it's a bit the same thing. Also, you've been experiencing with your brand as well. Entertaining people, doing videos, posting regularly on your page, and always try to bring the algorithm back, favor yourself back also in the feed by doing all this kind of stuff.
Absolutely. One thing I noticed, actually, there's a whole new strategy which we're about to reveal to our group about how you can take advantage of your viral memes to make sales. And that's a secret strategy I'm only going to be sharing in the mastermind group. But anyway, regardless of that, posting regularly is really, really, really critical. Okay, and the reason being is just from the practical standpoint, Facebook doesn't like and doesn't favor fan pages that are spammy. Okay, if you're just posting content, they actually measure that, and it affects your ads performance from that fan page. Okay, so you're literally going to save yourself money if you're just posting regularly because Facebook likes that. Number two is the more you post, right, a notification will go out to your fans, and if one of your fans likes or comments on that post or shares it, there's going to be a notification that goes out to their friends that says, so-and-so liked this post, so-and-so commented on this post, so-and-so shared this post, okay? Which is going to naturally bring their friends to come take a look. And let's just say you're in let's just say something, let's pick something unusual, cricket, okay? there's a whole tons of people who still like the sport cricket. How you can watch a sport that lasts for days, I have no idea. But anyway, so but things, if Phil's a cricket fan, what are the odds that some of his friends are also cricket fans? I mean, who watches sports just by themselves, right? So who drinks beer just by themselves, or who? Right? The point is, they're very likely to have the similar type of people as their friends. Similars attract. Okay, so what's going to happen there is naturally you're going to get notifications going out, and they're going to come see your fan page, and they may like your fan page, and so even if they don't buy from you right away, they're going to get a familiarity with your fan page. Okay, it's going to build up what's called KLT, know, like, and trust. And also, because these people have come to your fan page, and because they've engaged in a post related to that topic, they're going to go into one of the interest or keyword, whatever you want to call it, right, targeting that Facebook has. Then you're going to hit them with an ad, and it's subliminal. They're going to remember, in their mindset, they're going to remember that fan page. And if the ad comes from a fan page that they're more familiar with, it increases your chance of getting a sale. So from that point of view, you're hurting yourself. And then on top of it, guys, yes, just having organic content brings visitors to your fan page. And then they go to that shop now on the page and they buy. So you are really, really screwing yourself if you're not posting regularly on your fan page. It's just a horrible thing not to do.
Yeah, and it has to be taken as an asset, yes, for sure, you don't own the data there, but it's still an asset in terms of engagement and leveraging your dollars from your ads later on. And we're doing like some tests right now on a very old page where I had like 76,000 likes there, and it was like posting. I mean, I think I'm still posting on this page since 2014 regularly, and one post a day, and the other day, for fun, because we were rebuilding a store around that page, I needed content. So one thing I did is, instead of looking for content creator on Upwork or whatever, freelancer.com or anything, I said, I'm going to go after my fans, and I'm going to ask them if there's anyone that is passionate that would like to write some contents for our new site. And I posted on the Sunday at, I think, 11 o'clock at night, and in the morning I had already hundreds of people that messaged me on my inbox of my page, and same thing in the comments of the post, that were totally interested in being copywriters. I mean, basically writers, article or writers for our new project there. So that proves that if you're keeping your stuff active, there's good things that can happen there. And this is literally saving me times. First of all, is the quality of the people that I'm getting. They're truly passionate about what we're talking in this page. It will be hard for me to find a copywriter probably on Upwork that is passionate as these people. So that's the first thing. Probably I will not get the quality writers. I will get like good quality, but not probably premium. But one thing is, I'm going to have like 10s or 30 or 50 people that will write for me once per month, and from them I will be able to take one article and almost I get this article posted one a day on my blog, on my page again, and things like that. And this will bring again other people that are super passionate about it, bringing back to the page, to the site, and things like that. So I just can imagine now, with all this content and driving traffic to this content, how relevant I will be, and I will show how relevant I am to Facebook. And this relevancy will bring probably my cost of acquisition of new customers or even sales super low compared to any type of ads I've been doing before. And just that because I kept like posting and engaging with this page for the last 5 years,
Hey, Phil, Two things. One, I got a coaching call in 9 minutes, so just so you know that there's a little bit of deadline here on this. And the second thing is, I just was looking in your group. I wasn't just looking at my phone. I was looking on my phone for a reason. I was looking at the live stream and seeing if there's any questions that came in. There are a few.
Yeah. So basically, we are going to go forward and close the jam session with Chris. And guys, if you're still with us tonight, we are going to set a couple of minutes with Chris, like just to answer questions. From there, Chris, thank you very much for hanging with us tonight. It was a real pleasure to have you as usual. And hope, guys, you enjoyed that Chill with Phil episode. We'll see you next week for another
really
one
it.
as well.
Thank you for having me on. Thanks for listening to the podcast we play. Thanks for listening.
Thank you very much, Chris, for being there with us. Guys, see you next week. So we're stopping now the podcast, guys, but you can still ask us questions. There will be like some edits for our live stream when it's going to be on. So normally this podcast will be on in a couple of weeks. Like I said, probably like 4 weeks from now. We have a couple coming in. So if you have questions, it's time now. We're taking all the questions. And
good job, Coleman. Went and made a post. But don't just do it now, okay? Well, at least once a day. I don't think once a day is ideal, but ideal would be 2 to 3 times a day. But at the very minimum, you have to do once a day.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And by the way, you can schedule it, right? Facebook's got a schedule. So one thing I often recommend to my students is they say, well, I don't like to look for content every day. That's fine. Sit down for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, once a month, and just get 60 pieces of content and then schedule them out for the next month.
Yeah.
Facebook will automatically post for you.
Makes sense. There's another question.
Yeah, go ahead.
There's another question here from William Catman. He's asking, do you have any thought on 12-month products, or would you always suggest seasonal items?
There are some products that will sell year-round, of course. And if you can find one that's evergreen like that, then yes, by all means.
Cool. I'm struggling.
I'm not seeing that question.
It's probably on another page. It's not only on the group. It's probably on my personal page.
Yeah.
Since I'm looking at this everywhere. Another one here. I'm struggling to sell product. I test many product, but no results. So, any advice, please?
It's kind of a very broad, difficult question because I mean, are you launching products from one specific niche, or are you just spraying many different niches? I mean, one, if you're spraying many different niches, I would stop doing that. But number two is how much time and effort have you spent trying to get to know your niche and try to figure out what truly resonates with them? I mean, that's the first question that I have. I mean, if you've launched a lot of products and you're not making any sales at all, my guess is that you don't really truly know your niche well. Yeah. Because, I mean, if you know your niche well, you're going to at least come up with stuff that was going to make some sales, right? I mean, anyone who's, guys, from someone who's worked with a lot of people, anyone who's spent the time to research and get to know the niche is able to come up with some products that make sales. Now, you're still not highly profitable. You truly become highly profitable when you find a real winner that resonates and you can sell a lot of. But the point is, you're able to bring in some sales, right? So, if you're not making any sales at all, that tells me you don't really know your niche, most likely.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, I think the most important part are two things. One, knowing your niche, but also taking the time to make a list of product that might resonate also with your niche. Because if you go everywhere at the same place and trying to just launch without knowing, it's where you're going to get lost and discouraged.
All right. Thank you for being on. Thanks for having me, Phil. Okay, cheers. Bye.